Ladies and gentlemen, TV lovers, insomniacs, and serial binge watchers, welcome. Tonight, I'm your guide on a journey through 7 shows that are about to own your screens. And these aren't your usual safe choices. No. We're talking about worlds where morality is tested, power is dangerous, survival is brutal, and, yes, a certain clown is waiting for you in the sewer. So let's dive in. Picture yourself sitting on the couch, remote in hand, the room dark except for the glow of the TV. You're ready to lose yourself. And here's where the ride begins. Task, HBO Max. Imagine a small town where nothing stays buried. A working-class neighborhood, the kind of place where everyone knows your name and your secrets. That's where Task drops us. We meet Tom Brandis, played by Mark Ruffalo, an FBI agent who once wore the collar of a priest. Think about that. A man who's guided confessions now chasing criminals. His faith is fractured, his past haunts him, and every choice feels like a test. Then there's Robbie Prendergast, a garbage man by day, a man of desperation by night. Tom Pelphrey plays him like a ticking bomb. He's not a villain in the traditional sense. He's a father, a son, a man carrying grief who decides to take shortcuts that drag him into darkness. 2 men, 2 lives, slowly on a collision course. And around them, small-time hustlers, dirty cops, families trying to survive. Every episode peels back another layer of trust, loyalty, and betrayal. And the beauty of Task? It's not just the shootouts or the arrests. It's the silences. It's the way a diner conversation can feel more dangerous than a gunfight. It's the music, echoing emotions when words won't do. And when that Delco accent hits your ears, you know you're not just watching TV, you're inside that neighborhood. But let's leave the city lights behind for a moment and head somewhere colder. In the icy wilderness of Alaska, silence rules, until one terrifying event changes everything. A prison transport plane crashes deep in the mountains, releasing a group of dangerous fugitives into the wild. Now, what was once a peaceful town becomes a battleground for survival. At the center of it all is U.S. Marshal Frank Remnick, played by Jason Clarke. Haunted by his past and stationed in this remote outpost, Frank suddenly finds himself facing a deadly crisis with no backup and no escape. As he hunts the fugitives across the frozen land, Frank battles not only violent criminals, but also the brutal Alaskan wilderness, freezing temperatures, endless nights, and his own doubts. Among the escaped prisoners is Havelock, a smart and ruthless leader who turns every step of the chase into a deadly game. But as Frank digs deeper, he uncovers something even more chilling. The crash may not have been an accident. There's a secret behind it, a hidden conspiracy that could destroy everything he's sworn to protect. Throughout the series, tension builds as Frank fights to save his town, confronts his past, and learns that justice often comes at a painful cost. The wilderness becomes both his enemy and his test, proving that true strength isn't just about survival, but about holding on to what's right when everything falls apart.
I'm gonna find your guy. And whatever else it is you're hiding.
The Diplomat, Season 3 Politics. Glamorous on the outside, brutal on the inside. The Diplomat returns for Season 3. And if you thought the first 2 seasons were full of tension, buckle up. Because now, every handshake could be a dagger. Our lead diplomat is balancing crises that would make most people fold. International disputes, hostile allies, and a political powder keg back home. At this level, words are weapons sharper than knives. Imagine negotiating peace while your own government doesn't trust you. Imagine knowing there's a mole in your team, but you can't prove it. Imagine having to smile at someone across the table, knowing they're plotting your downfall. That's the kind of drama this season delivers. It's witty, it's sharp, and yes, sometimes it's even funny. Because in politics, humor is the armor you wear while the world tries to eat you alive.
On the table, I don't look so bad.
Respectfully,
You look very bad.
But enough diplomacy. Let's go darker. Let's talk about someone who stares into the ugliest corners of society and doesn't blink. The SAVANT, the internet. It connects us, but it also harbors monsters. The SAVANT tells the story of someone brilliant, maybe too brilliant, whose gift is pattern recognition. Where others see noise, the SAVANT sees threats, extremists, hate groups, forums planning real violence, The SAVANT infiltrates disguises, blends into digital shadows. But here's the catch. The deeper you go, the harder it is to find your way back. Pretend long enough and the mask starts sticking to your face. It's not just about stopping terrorists or trolls. It's about holding on to your identity when you're surrounded by darkness. The show doesn't just thrill, it unsettles. Because when you watch, you're not asking, what if this happened? You're asking, is this already happening right now?
What kind of a statement?
The kind that history refers to with a month and a date.
And speaking of masks, let's trade digital disguises for leather boots pounding the pavement. Boots, this one's raw, street level, gritty, pulsing with energy. Boots isn't about superheroes or politicians. It's about hustlers. It's about ambition, where ambition is a dangerous thing. The main character, known simply as Boots, is a survivor. Someone who grew up with nothing but is determined to carve out something, anything, even if the price is blood. The streets don't forgive, the streets don't forget, and in this world, every step leaves a mark. It's violent, yes, but it's also stylish. Dialogue that snaps. Moments of humor right before a gun goes off. Loyalty that feels unbreakable, until it breaks. Watching Boots is like listening to a beat that never lets up.
It is just the first day.
You've only been here for one day?
But hey, life isn't all blood and betrayal. Sometimes it's just hilarious. And that's where we meet a guy named Chad Powers. Chad Powers. Now here's the palate cleanser we all need. Chad Powers is comedy gold wrapped in a football helmet. The story? A former college star, his career in ruins, reinvents himself under the alias Chad Powers, a walk-on for a struggling football team. Imagine your gym buddy showing up in a wig and fake mustache, insisting he's a completely different guy, and actually getting away with it. That's the energy. It's funny, it's awkward, it's heartfelt. Chad fumbles through practice, dodges suspicion, and somehow wins hearts along the way. Beneath the laughs is a story about second chances, about what happens when life kicks you down and you decide to stand up anyway, even if you have to do it in disguise.
Is that guy?
He's like extremely ugly.
But of course, not all disguises are funny. Some are terrifying. And in our final stop, we return to a town where balloons mean death, IT. Welcome to DERRY, 1960s, before the Losers Club, before anyone knew the name Pennywise. Welcome to DERRY is a prequel, and it doesn't just retell a story, it builds the nightmare's roots. Here, the town looks ordinary. Quiet streets, kids on bikes, neighbors chatting on porches. But beneath, a history of vanishings, of tragedies, of people who just moved away, but never really did. This is where evil first takes hold. Red balloons float where they shouldn't. Sewers whisper laughter. And kids begin to realize that in DERRY, adults don't protect you. They look away. It's chilling, it's atmospheric, and it makes you wonder, was Pennywise born evil? Or did DERRY create him? Either way, you'll never look at a clown or a small town the same way again.
Things happen here. We don't really talk about it. No one does.
And with that, we've reached the end of our journey. So there you have it. Task with its gritty moral battles, the last frontier with its icy dangers, the diplomat where words can kill, the savant staring into digital darkness, Boots pounding the streets, Chad Powers fumbling his way into glory, and Welcome to DERRY, a nightmare dressed as a prequel. Different worlds, different tones, but all of them with one promise. Once you start watching, you won't stop, so tell me, which world will you step into first? And more importantly, will you make it out? Thank you, good night. And remember, if you see a red balloon, don't follow it.